because I don't know. It just kept saying that it was not connecting. So I came back. Wow. Jeez. Okay, so in the break, since I had to go off and come back, okay. So on that break, what I see is that you are in the receiving era of your life. God is pouring down, getting ready to pour down even more. You don't even realize you're in a space that you're not even aware of. But this is the deal. You're finding it difficult to not control how it's flowing to you. You're trying to control the flow. And I get it. It's like you're right on the edge of it. So it's very, 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 very intense. It's very intense. So this intensity has you wanting to push, has you, ooh, mm, 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 mm. Ooh, this is having you want to push. You're wanting to push it out. You don't want to wait for it to pop out. You want to push it out. You want to push the narrative. You forgot tense. You're at the gate. It's like you're right at that mountaintop that you've been waiting on. And you're trying to control the narrative. You're trying to control the process of completion, the process of the flow at this time. So I came here to tell you, don't do that. No, we're not doing that. I want you to just find peace, to just sit in it. Just sit in it. Get in the seat, get in the front seat of it and just sit in it and allow for it to come. You're already there. You're already there. It's already there. It's already there. You don't need to do anything. Just allow for it to flow. At some point, it just pop, it's going to come out. I was reminded the other day of when my sister, that anybody can have a baby and don't have any labor pains. And my sister literally did not have labor pains and was laughing at 10 centimeters and did not have an epidural. Literally. When the baby went to come out, the baby fell out almost because she just, boop. And Gabby process, you're in this process of receiving. We're going to just, in this process of receiving, you are realizing that it is necessary, that it feels, because it's so intense, you are feeling like you need to do something, and you're trying to control the divine process of this surprise, this big surprise that is getting ready to happen, and it's coming from a situation. It's out of company of it. It's like not even far. Well, I don't know if it was heard earlier, but the system kept saying reconnecting. So I got off and came back on. And I was looking for the card that I just had shown on a reading. And it was right there. But I had to go through the deck like a few times because I'm like, where's the card? And it said blessings in disguise. See, you have a blessing that's in disguise, but this miracle, this era that you're in to receive is so profound and it's so intense. It's quite naturally that you feel. This is the supernatural. When I was having a baby and having such severe pain, they're talking about just breathe. What are you talking I'm going through? Do you realize this pain that I'm going through? But see, here's the deal. What you're going through is natural because it's the natural synergy and energy of the flow at the door. The flow at the door. At the door of everything that you've been waiting for. Everything that you've been waiting for, you are at the door. So it's so intense. So Divine wanted me to get on here so I could tell you what you're feeling. It kind of feels somewhat like an anxiety, like you're feeling a little anxious, a little like, like I gotta push, I gotta push, I gotta push, I gotta push. I've got to find, you know what you're expecting, but you're trying to control how it's going to present itself to you. And Divine needs you to hands off. We got this. Let us handle this. Just go ahead and do you, baby. Stay focused on that lane. We got this over here. Thank you guys for coming. Hello. Stay in the lane that you're in. Stay focused. I remember when there was a point in my journey and I was still in high school, and at this point of my journey, I remember I was getting ready to lose my house. And I was so done with it. I was so done at this particular moment because I was doing exactly what Divine told me to do. I mean, as crazy as it sounded. I remember working and working and working and doing what God said to do when I was writing Pregnant in the Spirit, How to Birth a Life of True Purpose. And no matter what I was going through, the Spirit would just say, keep going. And I remember a friend who had been, a client who had become my friend, we had gone to court. I'm rushing on with the story. I can get to the point right here. They said I had 14 days. And it was surprising because the judge was my friend's friend. And he said, oh, it'll be okay, because it should have been. He owned the house. His family built the house. It was years. And I had lost my house in Island Lake in the recession, Island Lake of Novi in recession, and had moved. God had placed me in his house. He let me stay there, told me he wouldn't accept any offer of business or anything. He just said, just stay. You can come get the keys Wednesday, that type thing. Well, a year later, during the recession, real estate was still going crazy. And as a result of that, there were some things that were going on. And somebody, this is like one of those scenarios that it's so, I mean, come on, it's like an impossible situation. You've got children. Like when I tell you God has provided for you, God has really provided for you in ways that are not people you can't explain. And it's also a testimony and a point of encouragement for those of you who are in situations that seem literally impossible for anybody to help you. Because when they say, well, but God, you like, but yeah, but what God, God give you common sense. So what is, I'm just telling you, if you just allow for yourself to sit in it, allow for you to sit in it. So in this situation, after about a year or something, he had taken out a loan on the house. And they were doing really shady things with mortgages back then. I mean, just really shady. The mortgage industry was faulty, and it was just shady. Agreement that he had with his mortgage, and I mean, he owned two houses, but this particular house, they reneged, and they did that to a lot of people. So the judge gave us 14 days. And I'm thinking, okay, because I had faith, I'm like, all right, that's fine. 14 days, God's going to come through. This is what I was saying. God's going to come through and it's going to be great. And that's that. Right. So I'm not worried about it. But at the same time, I should be really, really, really packing because this totally changed the dynamic and scenario of the agreement I had with him because it was his house. I moved out. He allowed for me to pro bono. I didn't ask for the pro bono. He gave it to me and I was in his home. And so he said, don't worry about it. Princess, everything's going to be all right. Right. Older Lebanese man. And he says, everything's going to be okay. That's my friend. When she gets out of court, she comes to his house and have drinks at the pool. You know what I mean? So he's thinking it's going to be okay. Because but what happened was divine order. It wasn't about his friendship at all. That's a part of the story. You feel me? So I was just riding on God. Treated him like she didn't know who in the hee-haw hell he was. And she gave us the 14 days. So I remember getting back to the house and I was still doing some process in terms of the editing of my book, doing what divine had me to do. So I'm still getting in the process of this and working, and I go into my office and a worry comes over me. And the Spirit said, no, you don't. Keep going. I'm like, I'm looking at the house, I'm looking at everything, and it was a big house. So what I got all this stuff to do. I've got all this packing to do. I've got 2 weeks. Okay, if you're telling me to keep working, then you must. I guess I'm going to be staying here or something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going to happen. Or what I really thought was that everything that I had worked on is getting ready to take off and I'm going to sell 1 million books. That's what's getting ready to happen. Honestly, that's what I thought. So, so as I'm sitting, as I go and do what God said to do, days go by. And I remember one day staying in my office in the lower level, and I wept all day long. I wept all day long. I wept so much to the point that I was coming upstairs at night to greet my children and for us to have some family time. And I came upstairs with sunglasses on because I didn't want them to see the red of my eyes. Because I had cried and cried and cried all day. So I come upstairs and my daughter said to me, Mommy, why do you have sunglasses on in the house? And I made some joke about it or whatever. Then I remember God showing me, God, take this cup from me. And I remember saying to myself, wait a minute. I don't know why this thing. We thank you for this opportunity that we're going to be saying and sharing this story. What? So, as we were saying, so the Spirit said that to me, and I knew that there was more to come. I had more trouble. It was more, something else was going to come. But what kept coming were a sea of miracles in different ways and forms that I had no idea. That's because in that moment, I'm going to tell you what happened. That night, I remember lying down on the bed and I felt the presence of God so much. I asked God, please don't show yourself. I mean, just please don't show up here, because it was that strong that I felt like I'm going to end up seeing something in a minute. Right? So don't let me see you. I'm good. And I remember lying down and just embracing the presence, but crying myself to sleep. So it's the 13th day. And all that time, I kept doing what God asked me to do. So, and then none of that included packing at all. It didn't include what they say, worry not about tomorrow, what you're going to talk about. I did not do any of that stuff, because God, every time I would go to, divine would say, no, keep doing what I ask you to do. Hey, what? Okay, okay. I see you, partner. So I did. And what took place was on the 13th day, I remember getting a phone call from a friend of mine. She was Russian, so I always like try to sound like that. She said, Princess, what are you going to do? I said, don't worry. I said, everything's gonna be all right. She says, you're crazy, you're crazy. I said, everything's gonna be all right. You're crazy, you got to be crazy. What about those kids? What about those kids? I said, they're gonna be fine. I said, it's gonna be all right. Because one thing I did know, I don't know what the hell about to happen, but I do know God got me. I don't know, because all I know is that, and this was like in the beginning stages of me intentionally being guided, intentionally saying yes. Not just because, see, I came like, I woke up like this. I did. So I've been following. I've got stories back to when I was a little girl, teenage. I've been more connected with the spirit realm than I am this. So accepting the fact that I currently, as I know now, right? Intentionally. So divine is telling me to just do it. Do what I ask you to do. Don't you do that. Like I would go, a moment of panic, a moment of panic. That's okay. Just keep going. Oh my God. So my phone, she's saying I'm crazy, and the kids are going, what? The kids can come stay here, but you, mind you, I had already lost the house that I built, which was an estate, a Toll Brother estate. I had already lost that. Recession, and then here I come, and I'm in a beautiful home at this moment, but I didn't have anything tangible, resourceful to hold on to. All I had was God in my ear telling me in my head, my spirit, intuition, Holy Spirit, divine source energy, however you want to call it, shape it, Heavenly Mother and Father, Elohim, Jehovah Jireh, saying, just keep doing what I said. All right? Bet. So I told her, because I don't know. I honestly didn't know. This is the day before the 14th day that the bailiffs are coming, because, see, this was ordered by the judge. So the bailiff's on the way. Okay? I was in real estate. I owned a real estate investment and consulting firm. I know all too well the process. I know how it goes. When the bailiffs are coming, they're coming, and they're getting your stuff, unless you have a connection. All right? But this isn't that story. So let's stay focused. I told her everything was going to be all fine. I remember going to Starbucks, my normal Starbucks, and I go drive down the winding driveway, and I said, maybe I have mail in the mailbox. You know, those pastors get mail all of a sudden, and it just happened. Maybe I got a check in the mail. Maybe my book's sold overnight and everything's great. I don't know. I mean, something's getting ready to happen, right? So I go get my coffee and come back. I look in the mailbox, and what seemed like junk mail to me. And I came in and I threw it on my kitchen counter. But I was drawn to go back to it. And I looked at an envelope that I know also well. It's the letter where you get tons of mail from all the banks, and everybody's telling you that I can help you, and you know, don't lose your house. Let's get the balance of it, and all of this. I know all too well. So I picked it up because the Spirit said to pick up this particular envelope, and I did, and I opened it, and I'm thinking, what the heck? It's the same thing like I thought it was going to be. So I go down to my office, continuing what God says. This is day 13 from the 14th. So I go down to the office and I'm reading the letter, and it's saying, final try, call us and they'll help you, you know, we can give you some money and this, that, and the third. But usually that doesn't have, when the bailiffs have already come, when the bailiffs are due to come, and at this point they're due to come tomorrow at the door, right? So when the bailiffs are due to come, there's what are you talking? That letter doesn't mean anything. It's too late for that letter. Back then, that's what that meant. I knew all too well. I've actually had bought people's homes who were in dire strait for them. So when I look at this, spirits, it's like I'm almost moving in a robotic situation, because then now I'm guided to actually call the number, and I'm thinking this is a waste of time. So I'm on the phone like, I used to have a foreclosure deliverance program. I know what you're going to say, You're going to tell me, okay, well, the bailiff's already told you that, the judge already said 14, you're out of there. I know what's going to happen. So when I talked to her, she says, oh, as if she knew my number and was waiting on me. She says, oh, I've been waiting for you to call. She says, and this was a weekend. She says, oh, are you still in the house? I said, yes, I am. She said, okay. Good. How long do you need? I said, pardon me? She said, how long do you need? I said, well, the judge has already set it up for the bailiffs. The bailiffs are due to come tomorrow. Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. She said, is 4 weeks good for you? I said, yeah. She said, how about 8? No, 6 weeks. She gave me 6. No, she gave me 8 weeks. And I believe it's 8, 6 or 8 weeks. It's been a long time ago, 6 or 8 weeks. It was 8 weeks. Yeah. I think it was 8 weeks. So she gave me somewhere between 6 and 8, let's say 6 and 8 weeks she gave me. I'm like, wow. She says, well, how about, I think it was $2,000 and some change. I said, pardon me? And I knew they did that, but at this point, the bailiffs are coming tomorrow. You're still going to offer me money? She said, all we need you to do is clean the house up. That's it, to make sure that it's really, really clean. And that was a very common gesture at that time. Yes, it was. I was just not used to seeing it at the door like that. So she asked me where could I meet her. I met her at Somerset Mall in the parking lot. It must have been a Sunday. And we signed, she said, you sign this paperwork and everything will be fine. And it was. So I got the extended time, everything went. The story is even more massive because more happened. But in that particular scenario, that happened. And I was able to continue on doing what I had to do, but God was showing up every step of the way. Wow. And the Spirit said, tell you the full story. Okay. Hey, listen. Somebody needs to hear this. So, oh, Lord. All right. Amen. How you guys doing? First of all, I know I'm not engaged. I'm trying to stay focused because people be on here clowning. Okay. Greetings, everyone. So as I go through this, we're going to ignore it. Let me get that. The purpose of the live. Now I'm going to try. I'm not going to just shut it out, because maybe you're sincerely asking. The purpose of the live is we're live and we're going with the flow. Amen. So there you go. So as I went through this experience, which was very scary, I know for a fact that there are so many of you You don't know where you're going. You don't know the direction. And it may not be a home that you're losing. It may not be that. But what it is, you're being asked to flow. You're being asked to trust. You're being asked in the midst of this moment now that you feel this overwhelming feeling of just, it feels like anxiety, but it's really the pressure of the blessing that is getting ready to flow in your life. And it's not for everybody, because everybody is at a different place in their journey. Somebody may be in the valley, but you're still on the door of a blessing. Because even in the valley, there are so many blessings and treasures. Either way. Either way. So as I was saying, so the Spirit wanted me to share with you this story. So as the month go on, yes, I packed, got everything cleaned. Everything was great. I remember packing and then found a box, one of my shoe boxes. And I know I didn't do it, because you will get signs and wonders. I found a shoe box that had $800 in it. Now, I wasn't one to keep cash in boxes like that, but it was my shoe box with $800 in it. And I was thinking to myself, although it was a nice blessing, the way I was seeing this thing turn out, God gave me 8 more weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, whichever, I can't remember exactly, but 6 to 8 weeks, God gave me some more time. So this is the way this is going to happen. That's why God wanted me to keep going with this, because this is the way this is going to happen. What's going to happen is the project that I have been working on is going to completely take off, and I'm going to have more financial. I am going to be back on top, and I am going to be good. I am going to have the money. I'm going to move into my house. Maybe I'll have to go and get a hotel for a minute, but then I'm going to be right into my house. This is what I was literally thinking. This is the way the blessing is getting ready to come. And I was waiting for it to come in that way. In that way, I needed it to come. Right? Like we were saying in the beginning. You are feeling this push, this need to push, this need to control the blessing process, to control how it's getting ready to unfold, to control how your surprise party is dressed up. You're trying to control it because you're in this feeling, this pressure cooker, and it's pushing you. And God is still saying, I need you to flow. I need you to flow. So here we go at this moment where now the 4-8 weeks, it's all there, right? Everything's good. And again, I'm almost at the door of it. So now I'm really confused. This, by the way, was the beginning of the journey when I was like off of that high mountaintop and I thought I had made it already. I already had done what I need to do. I was going to retire that from there, and God had already blessed in so many different ways. My life was miraculous. That's what I thought. I didn't know that that was the catalyst for a higher mountaintop. See, some of you have been there and some of you are there now, that you've been at the top of on the top of your game. So what the hee-haw hell is happening that God wants you, that you're finding yourself getting ready to what you think, well, it is a slope. It is. It doesn't feel good. Some of you, in fact, got to get kicked off because you refuse to let go, but you want more. You want what you can't see. You don't know. You just know you want more. You know that there's more for you. So you're here. And you're going down like this. You're going to go to the valley. But along the way, all throughout the journey, there are blessings and blessings and blessings. All throughout the journey, you are going to be blessed. There is divine power, divine resources provided, divine. It's a price to pay. And the The higher the mountaintop, tougher the climb and deeper the valley. So for some of you, you're going to the highest height that your soul will go, meaning this is your soul, like your soul's coming home thing. So you are going at the highest of the highest, or the highest in this lifetime. So it may not feel like the other times when you fell off and got back on, fell off and got back on, because I mean, just like, hey, elementary school is easier than college, however smart you are, right? So it's a bigger price to pay. It's a bigger price to pay. So as I go through this process, now it's another situation I've got. I realized that $800, finding that, it was like my angels put it there. Finding that let me know that there was something else that was getting ready to happen, and it wasn't exactly how I thought. I actually thought I was going to win the lottery then. I said, that's it, because I have nothing else. I remember going to, because these numbers, numerology also became a very big thing in my life at the time. Like I wasn't ever into numerology. I was raised in Pentecostal church, a Pentecostal upbringing. So I did not understand about all of the numbers and numerology and the synchronicities and the importance of it. But during this time, Divine was showing me numbers and causing me to really pay attention to it and really just pay attention to the numbers. So I kept seeing the synchronicities, and the synchronicities were making sense. So I put them down on a sheet of paper, and I said, I must be getting ready to win the lottery, because where the hell am I going? Now my boxes are packed. Yes, I called the mover, but where am I telling the mover to take me? Well, first, okay, I had decided, well, I guess there's a miracle that's going to take place, and the miracle is that all of my books and my classes, everybody's going to sign up, and it's just going to take place overnight, and that's what's getting ready to happen. That's how this is getting ready to happen. Bam! I've got the answer, right? You think you've got the solution. You think you already know. So this is what happens. I play the numbers that I have been seeing in my head. I played the numbers. And then that morning, I couldn't wait. I remember looking at my son. And at the time, he was walking down the hallway, and his eyes almost looked sad. They didn't know exactly everything that I was going through in this process, but I was teaching them along the way about guidance. So I looked at him, and I could see his worry. And he said, "Mom, where are we going?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, we're going to probably go to the hotel for a little while, and then everything will be fine. And I just didn't know what to say, because your mom has been following the divine, and I don't even know what that is. Like, I hope I'm doing something right. So what happens, I am so happy this particular morning, the next morning, that night is when I had that conversation with my son. And by the way, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. To who this message is for, you know it's for you. And you know you need to hear it. If it's for one person, 2, 3, none right now, and they come later, it's fine. It's recorded, and it's for them. So all negativity, I'm not even going to pay attention to. Whatever, it doesn't even matter. That energy is not welcomed here, so it's all void. Period. So, back to the lecture at hand. How y'all doing? Okay. So the next morning, I go to, after the children go to school, I go to the gas station to turn my little ticket in. You can't tell me that the number is not about to be on there, because I'm thinking I don't know what's getting ready to happen, but it must be the reason that these numbers have been coming to me. I'm getting ready to win the lottery, okay? And I have always had a good niche. I have a good niche with numbers. So when the man told me that it wasn't a winner, I said, yes, it is. I said, try that again. You got to do that again, because I know good and damn well that thing, my numbers are there. Because on that day, the moving company was coming. And I didn't know where I was going. All the way up to that day. So I told him to run it again. Run that again, partner. So he did, and he said, you're not a winner. And I said, I am. But I get in the car, and I'm going to tell you something. Ooh. I didn't want to say I was mad at God. But how about, I don't want to hear nothing from my head telling me to do a damn thing, because I didn't win the lottery and all of this stuff happened. But then the Spirit said, go to the library. The library is where I had set up shop pretty much. I would just go to the library every day and sit at the same computer and just work so that I can get out of the house. That's what I would do every day as I was editing and preparing the websites and all of this stuff for Pregnant in the Spirit. And the Spirit said to go to the library. And I'm like, for what? The movers are getting ready to be here in about a few hours. What am I going to tell the kids when they get out of school? Like, what are we talking about? Because, see, I have crazy, crazy, crazy faith. And I put all my eggs in this basket. And now you want me to do what? Mind you, I was packed. I was prepared to go. I just didn't know where. So what I decided to do was be obedient. And I went to the library. So I go to the library, sitting there, and I'm thinking, well, you must want me to go to the library because you want me to go check the computer to see if a whole bunch of people bought my book. That's what you want. They signed up. I mean, what are we doing? So I go sit at the same place that I always sit. Turned on the computer, looked at the logs, and that wasn't the case. Okay? There was no money waiting for me to pick it up because the books had sold. Feeling like numb almost. I turn it off. I didn't know if I turned it off. I walk away, go down the hall, and as I'm going down the hall, for some reason, now mind you, I go to the library every day. I'm there before they open. I'm there every single solitary day. And I walk down this hallway, and I think, did I turn the computer on? Mind you, I know how the computers work. The minute I got up from there, no sooner I hit the door, the computer was off, already logged off, ready for the next person. But in that moment, I didn't think about that. I went back. When I go back and I sit there and I'm like, I know the computer was off. I get a tap on my shoulder in the back, from the back. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. I turn around. I'm like, hi. She said, man, I'm so glad you came back. I almost wanted to chase you because, man, my spirit was telling me to talk to you, man, but I just didn't. Listen, my name is, I'm just gonna say D, and I'm a deaf poetry jam, deaf comedy jam poet, and speaker, and I've been going through it like, wait, what do you do? What do you do? So then I told her, I said, I told her, I said, I'm an author, and told her all what I did. She said, oh man. She said, I've just been going through so much. And so the Spirit guided me because I can see what people are going through, and that's a gift. So I was able to see, and I began to minister to her, and I tell her, I said, you have to trust in a way that is crazy. You have to trust in the way that is foolish. They say the way of the Spirit is foolish to man. You got to really, really put that kind of trust in this process. In your process, everything is going to work out fine. And I am very, very, very private. So I wasn't trying to tell my story. I don't give what people think. Okay. But I'm just private about my business. Right. And at the time, I will say this. At the time, I kind of felt like people will get the story when it's done. Okay. Because I don't know what's going on. I can't tell while I'm in it. Okay. I'm going to tell when it's over. Okay. You know how, that's how I was feeling at the time. But at the time, the Spirit said, tell her your story. So I said to her, I said, listen, let me explain something to you. I said, I have a few hours and the movers are coming to move us. And I have nowhere to go. I said, I'm going to get, I already had a storage set up, but we have nowhere to go. But I have faith that everything's going to be all right because I've been doing everything Divine told me to do every step of the way. Every step of the way I've been doing it. She said, oh man, baby girl. Look, I got a house over here in Sylvan Lake. And I'm never there. I'm always at my girl's house. I'm never there. So I mean, you and your kids more than welcome to come through there. You more than welcome. You can stay there as long as you need to. Like, no, don't worry about that. And I'm like, no, baby, that's okay. I'm thinking to myself, in my head, I told her that's okay. But in my head, I'm like, let me give her a book. Because I had just gotten a shipment in. Let me give her a signed book and go along my way. Thank you, baby. I won't need that. I'll be good. That's what I told her. And I really meant that. Not knowing that's also private. Hey, this is not the road less traveled. Wasn't a common situation like that. I'm good, right? She said, oh, no, but look, if you need anything, here's my number. I gave her a book. Praise God. I hope the story helped you. I hope it. And she felt lifted up. She was lifted up. So I leave. Thought I did, hey, I made the offer, gave her the book. Everything's good. So then that day, of course, I don't know. I go home, but the movers can't move because I have too much stuff. And it was not two men in the truck. It was two men in a truck. Literally, okay? What are they playing? I'm like, what? You not, why is the truck yellow and brown? You not white and black? So they couldn't handle my house. It was a 6,000 square foot home. It was a lot of stuff, right? So they couldn't handle my stuff. Like, geez. So I had to call the lady who blessed us with the extension. I called her. I told her what happened. I'm so sorry, but now I had to call the real two men in the truck because I thought I had ordered two men and a truck. And I did, and it was some other organization. She said, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I said, so they can come tomorrow, and they were coming to the next day. So that night, I didn't know what was going to happen again. Am I going to win the lottery? What's going to happen? Are they going to get the books now? Thank you, God. You have another day to come through like I need you to show up. Thank you, God, for another day, another opportunity for you to make this right, because I don't know what's going on because I didn't win the lottery, okay? What is happening? But I trust you because in that process, it had been so divine and so amazing. throughout the whole process. So the next day comes around and the kids are like, Mom, where are we going? And I said, well, it's this lady that I met at the library. She offered us to stay at her house, and they're going to take our stuff to storage for now, but everything is going to be fine. And I did my little happy dance because that's all I knew. That's all I could stand on. That story is for somebody. That's all I could stand on. So I called the lady, and because she said it was her woman, this is a key to the story too. Because she said her and her, she's usually at her girl's house, meant that she was gay. And so because she was gay and she wanted me to stay at her house, in my old belief system, I mean, it was like, God can't come through that person like that, right? God can't use that person. That can't be all God, right? Mm-hmm. So what happened, this woman, when I called her, she said, oh man, you need me to come over there? You need me to help you? What you need, baby girl? You need us to help? We already got your keys ready. We were praying for you all night long. We got your keys ready. Wow. I'm like, okay. The movers are going to be here, and when we get done, we'll come on over. When we get to that, now mind you, it was very different from the house that my children grew up, all of whatever they had known. But it was beautiful for us at that moment. And still at the same time, let me tell you, this is important. When we walked in the house, my children were like, what the hee-haw hell just happened? They could not believe it. The Spirit's like, tell the whole thing. Wow. Somebody needs this. That's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. So, all right. So this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. You're going to be so good. God has a plan for you, right? I'm telling you, just go with the flow. Go with the flow. And don't pay attention to people. Don't pay attention to what anybody is saying, none of that. So anyways, we go in, and my son and my daughter are with me, and they're standing there like people are being greeted into a big establishment or something. They said, come on in, here's your keys. And then the young lady's partner, stops my children, and she said, listen. She said, I was living in the subway for 2 years. You guys are at the perfect place, because the only way is up from here. It's going to be good. And you're going to find peace in this space. And she gave them that word, and it was like being at a hotel. Nowadays, they have the Airbnbs. That's not what they had back then. But that's what it would be considered now. So we stayed there, but I remember that first night having a dream, and somebody was putting their foot on my head in the quicksand. Every time I would come up, they put their foot on my head. I come up again, they put their foot on my head. And they kept doing that over and over and over again. And I couldn't breathe. But then when I got up out of it, I remember looking over to the left. Look over to the left. Just had to put that came through. But I looked over to the left, and I saw this beautiful house. After I looked over to the left, and the quicksand was falling off of me. I woke up. You know what I thought? damn, I'm still alive. And I have to believe again. Another day. Another day I have to believe. Another day I have to believe. And I asked God that day, just micromanage me. Don't let me do anything I'm not supposed to do. Don't let me go where I'm not supposed to go. I was kind of done with it. And this dream actually came sometime. I had stayed there. We stayed there for like a month. But this dream had come probably like, I don't know, it must have been, maybe it was a few weeks. It was some time after we were there from the first day. And I remember a friend telling me, I need you to meet me at Starbucks. You know, that was my spot. So I met at Starbucks and he said, I need you to just thank God for the whole week. I just want you to thank God. Just don't. Every time you think about anything else, just say, God, I thank you. I thank you. Thank God for every solitary thing you have. Thank God for the limbs you have. Thank God that you have your breath. Thank God that you have the breath to continue again to believe another day. Just be grateful. Just be grateful. Whatever you can be grateful. Hell, thank God for the fork that you're using to pick up the whatever meal you have. Just thank God. Just be thankful for a whole week. He said, can you do that? I said, of course I can. So I did. And then this day came around and I'll never forget. I was so done. I was done with thinking. I was done with anything. That's when God, whatever your desire is regarding my life, let it become strongly my desire, and so shall my plans be established and succeed. I needed it to be strongly, because we can't do half part of the way. Because my mind is all over the place. So I need strongly, whatever your desire is, let it be strongly my desire, and so shall my plans be established and succeed. So this is what was so beautiful. I did that. And I find one day I was taking my daughter to get her hair done. Don't ask me why. I was going down the direction of where I was supposed to go. And I actually got to where I was supposed to go, the turn I was supposed to make, and literally forgot why I was there, turned around. Now, mind you, I was going a 9 mile and I was coming from like 16 mile, or actually Sylvan Lake is past there. But I passed all of that. I went down 16 mile and then, I went all the way to 9 mile and somehow was like, what am I doing? And turned back around, went on the 15 mile. And then I said, what am I doing? And even my children were like, Mom, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. But to turn around, that's when I went up the next mile. And there was a sign on the street that there was a home for lease. And that sign caused me to turn around. And I took the number. Within a week or so, I was surprising my children at the door of that home. I remember taking my children one day. I said, I'm trying to work out a deal here with this house. It was right down the street from their school and everything. And we prayed and ran around the house at night when nobody was there, because it was nobody in the house. So we prayed and shouted around the house, and this we're just going to claim this house, and we're trying to work out a deal. I was working out a deal with them because they wanted an astronomical amount a month, and I was working out a deal with them to change that. And so it could be, a couple thousand a month versus 5,000. So anyways, we're running around the house and we thank God, and then I left. So what happens? I Get my keys there. I get the house. They accept my offer. And I come back with the children, and they didn't know. I said, they thought we were there to pray again. So this is going to encourage somebody. There's so many stories along the way. As my daughter said one time when we were actually in the homeless shelter, she said, Mom, I know the vision is going to come to pass. We've learned so much along the way. I don't want to miss anything the rest of the way. Out of the mouth of babes. I don't want to miss anything the rest of the way. Slow down so that you can receive the many gifts. So they thought we were praying. I parked the car in the back of the house where the entry to the garage. And I said, just hold on a minute. Let me go see. Let me go check out up front. Now, mind you, it's dark outside, and over there are a whole lot of trees and all of this. I said, just hold on. I'll be right back. I go in the house, and then I open the garage and surprise the babies with them coming in to the home. And they couldn't believe it. And it was bigger and better. It was better. For them, it was more palatable to what we had built, but it was nice. It was wonderful. It was a great space to take a break. See, God gives you breathers in this spiritual pregnancy process. They're breathers. It's like you're swimming, and you go down and then you come up for breath. And you go down and you come up for breath. I know. And sometimes you think like, is this it? Or am I just taking a breath? What I'm going to say, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the flow. Enjoy the process, because it gets jiggy with it, honey. It gets real good. Believe it or not, the blessings get greater, and the lessons are greater, and depending on what your calling is, especially if you are a generational curse breaker, you are chosen, baby. Listen, your journey is not easy. It's not, but it's beautiful. And it's much more beautiful when you know that it is the process. You're not going crazy, right? That's why Pregnant in the Spirit is so wonderful, because with Pregnant in the Spirit, How to Birth a Life of True Purpose, with that book, you're able to see what to expect while on the journey. What are you to expect in the process? It's described in 4 periods of spiritual pregnancy. So, like, for example, one of the biggest things is that first period, letting go. You know, most times that's where everybody's going to get a pill. They need something because they've gotten depressed, because they think God is punishing them because everything is falling by the wayside, and it's beyond their control, whether it's relationship, whether it's tangible, intangible, whatever it is. The cycle of what you said you want more. That was the conception. Now you're in this experience of you gotta let it all, you gotta let it go. You become positioned for the process of spiritual pregnancy. Whereas in natural pregnancy, we are positioned as our bodies become hormonally adjusted to the process of us being pregnant. In our first trimester, we're regurgitating, and hyperemesis is very significant, but we know what to expect, right? We know what to expect when birthing, because we have the birthing book. Okay, so check out Spiritual Pregnancy in Pregnant in the Spirit. It is very, very awesome, especially for those of you who are, and even in this collective, there are a lot of people who are, you stand on scripture, you stand on scripture, and you come from that era, so you would like it, because it has a lot of scriptures to back things up in that book, Pregnant in the Spirit, How to Birth a Life of True Purpose. Listen, I love you guys so much. I love you guys. I hope the message helped, because it's important for us to share our stories, because our stories are very significant. We have different, the process, just like a woman having, going through the pregnancy process. You may be pregnant, all right, but we all have a different story. Like I told you, my sister had a baby and she, they say I was coming to the hospital, I hadn't made it there yet, but she didn't have any labor pains at the end. Like, who does that? We would say that's completely impossible. Like, stop lying. You know what I'm saying? But if I didn't know it was my sister, I'd say it wasn't possible, but it was. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, divine knows what you're able to take. Divine knows what you're able to take, and you're able to create the life that you want, however you want it. It's really up to you. But this journey is not a joke, right? It's not a joke. You can stay like a cow and moo moo in the green pastures if you like. I mean, if that's what you choose to do. But if your soul is calling for you to make a move, it's not only, and it's not making the move so you can get $1 million. All right. So it's not about that. Even when I was wanting that, it's because I know my calling it takes a lot of money. The things that we've done, and there were times that I had a whole lot of money. I had a multi-million-dollar business so I could fund everything that I needed to do. Then I lost everything. And then that's where I took the company global and didn't have a dime. You see what I'm saying? Don't put limits on your limitless season. Don't you put the limitations on your limitless season. Trying to say how it's supposed to be. Because you're in the seat of your blessing. You're right there on it, sitting on it. It's already there. It's up to you to open your eyes. This eye, not these. This one right here. Your intuition. Get connected. Meditate. Day in, day out. Don't you forget it, boo. Okay? Meditate day in and day out. Yeah. The guided meditations, I have them right on the playlist. So you don't have to look too far. You're right at home. I love you, ICBG fam. How y'all doing? I thank you guys so much for being here. I thank you. I trust that particular transformation story, that journey story, really, really, really helps you. Okay? Because yes, it's more than a notion. It's not for the weak at heart or in any other way. So, and you got to be strong. You have to be strong, and you cannot give about what anybody thinks. It's not about anybody. Your journey is not, it's not about somebody else. Who cares what they think? Okay? Step into your authenticity and move boldly forward. Mm-hmm. I love you. Transformation it is so. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. Okay? So that somebody else can be inspired. All right? I love you guys. Transformation it is so. You can email me if you would like a consultation regarding your true purpose and you need true purpose life coaching. Give us a jingle, 313-757-0348 and admin@bountifulgroup.com. I love you. Be Real Publishing for any keynote speaking or engagements. Okay? I love you. Bye. Let's see. Let me. I try not to get into this. Oh, Siberia. Okay, Romaine. Hi. Okay. I love you guys. I love you guys. Bye.